Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have this really pretty pink, white, and gold mini slimline card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to cut down my base, and for my mini slimline cards I like them to be 6 by 6 inches, and then I score them at the 3-inch mark, making them a 6 by 3 inch card. That's kind of my preferred size. There is a couple other sizes out there. This is just what I find the easiest. And you're going to see me cut down this black mat. I'm going to change my mind and make it gold later. I'm not going to record this again because I cut it the exact same way as I'm doing it here. But I did end up cutting down a gold mat to go on with this. At the time, I wasn't thinking that this card was going to be pink, white, and gold until I started die cutting things. And then I decided that it needed to be pink and gold because I just thought that was really, really pretty. And then I'm also going to cut down a piece of HammerMill Cardstock, which is going to be the background panel for this card. And I did cut them to be about an 1/8 of an inch smaller than each other. So my black mat is about an 1/8 of an inch smaller than my base. And then my HammerMill piece will be about an 1/8 of an inch smaller than my mat. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. You guys know that I tend to, eyeball things. So just bear with me with that. But that is kind of my goal in the measurement. And then here I just double check that my layers line up and look equal across the edges so that I get like a thin layer around the whole outside. So I was sent these by Spellbinders. You guys know that Spellbinders reached out to me and asked if I wanted to work with some of their products. And of course, I jumped at the opportunity. So I got to work with some different things last month, and then I have a few to work with this month, which is just really exciting. So these are the Etched Sprigs dies. And I'm going to run them through on my HammerMill cardstock, and then I'm going to run them through again on some gold cardstock. This is where I decided that a pink, white, and gold card would be really pretty. And I also have the Popular Sentiment etched dies as well, and that's what's got the happy birthday that cut up kind of on the top left of my cardstock there. And I'm trying to be really careful popping these out because the stems are so delicate, which is also why I brought in that chrome base plate, because I find that it helps me cut delicate dies really, really easily. And I did cut this kind of poinsettia piece twice, thinking that this is where I'm still thinking I'm going to do, I don't know, I think I was going to ink blend. I think that was my original idea. And then I was looking at these pieces. I'm like, no, we've got to go gold with this. And then of course, I love white, pink, and gold. That's just kind of a blend of colors that I get really excited about. So I changed directions a little bit here, and I cut a few of the pieces out in the gold, knowing that I was also going to ink blend on a few of the white pieces, making them pink. So I kind of had some options as to what kind of layout I wanted. So I cut one layer of the poinsettia out in the gold, and I have one layer cut out currently in the white, but I will ink blend on top of it. So any of the pieces I want to change to that pink color, I am going to blend this is Kitsch Flamingo on top of it, just because I think it's just a really pretty lighter pink. I mean, you could use spun sugar. I felt like spun sugar was a bit too light for what I was after for this, so I chose to go with Kitsch Flamingo. And then I'm just going to use a blending brush for this. I chose the brush just because I find that it is a little more delicate when laying color, and I'm trying really hard not to bend the pieces because they are a bit more delicate than, your average. You could have left them in the carrier sheet kind of thing to do this, and you wouldn't have had this concern. But at the time, I popped them all out before I decided I was going to do pink. So if you're concerned about that, by all means, just leave them in the sheet that you die cut them out of, and then do it there. You'll see me do that here in a second when I do the tittle on top of the eye for birthday, because I remembered that it was still sitting in that piece of cardstock. So right here is where I remember that. Right as I'm popping these pieces out and I'm about to adhere them, because I'm like, where's my eye? Or the tittle that goes on top of the eye, and I remembered it was in that carrier sheet. So I will just easily blend, because that's such a small dot and I didn't want to lose it. I'll just blend it in the sheet, and then that's just kind of like the easiest way to not worry about losing the little dot. See, I'm going to do that right here. So I could have done all of the die cuts like this. It would have been a lot more simple, and I wouldn't have had to worry about them, bending. But in hindsight, everything's a little smoother. So I brought in my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to adhere the die cuts down. So this is from that Popular Sentiments etched dies. There's a lot of great sentiments in that. I chose Happy Birthday just because I thought it was kind of fitting. And I'm going to change my idea for this design as well. Originally, I wanted to put the happy birthday on the bottom of the card base and then have the kind of sprigs above it. And then I was just going to trim off some of the stems so you didn't have, because they're different lengths, right? So you wouldn't have those really long stems trying to sit over top of the happy birthday, because I would just trim them down and then they wouldn't really matter. But I end up changing my mind, and you'll see that here as we kind of get a little further. I actually choose to put happy birthday on the inside of the card. And I just left the front as just a very clean and simple look without a lot of color. I mean, the only color really is what's on these, the pink and the gold die. That's all I'm going to add here. And then for the poinsettia, they can line up. I chose to not line them up, but they can line up. I just chose to have the white showing as well because I wanted that almost 3-layer look. I just thought it looked really neat. So that's kind of my preference. But you could have them line up and not have the white show. So it's completely up to you as to how you kind of want to use that die. And I left a lot of this white because I like a tone-on-tone look. It's just kind of something I prefer, but completely up to you. You could not have them be white or change the color palette completely if that's what you prefer. I like them to be white, so that's kind of what I go for. And then to kind of put my little bundle of sprigs together, I brought in some white and gold twine. This one specifically is from Michaels. I've linked one that you can get off like Simon, but this one specifically is from Michaels because I like to go there and buy stuff like Twine because they have so many different colors and selections. And I did have my whole thing laid out how I wanted it to be, and I with my reverse tweezers, and then it fell apart when I was trying to add my twine around it. So I just kind of had to finagle it back into where I wanted everything to be. And I'm no florist. I'm sure there are better ways to come up with how you want your design to look. I just kind of tried to have different colors together and different heights, and that kind of was just what I went for. And of course, you guys know that I like uneven numbers, so I do have 5 sprigs together here. And then I just wrapped that white and gold twine around the kind of body of the twigs to keep them, or the sprigs, sorry, to keep them together so that I could easily tie a bow. And I did cut extra here because I wasn't sure how many times I wanted to go around. I wasn't sure how big of a bow I would need. So I kind of am just playing with this because I'm not really sure what I'm doing. And then I used my reverse tweezers to kind of hold it once I felt like I had enough going around. And now you guys know that I struggle to tie a bow. I have long nails. We all know this. That's obvious. So it's always a little bit interesting when I have to do something kind of delicate just because my nails can try to get in the way. That's why I love my reverse tweezers so much. I actually have two really great sets of them now. So I have the gray ones you see here, and then I just grabbed the ones that I got in a Simon kit recently. Well, I got it a little while ago now, but and I love them. They're so phenomenal. So if you struggle with detail work like I do, get some reverse tweezers. They are some of the best tools. They're probably one of my most used tools in the craft room, just because detail work can be really hard with longer nails. So it's always a bit interesting to make sure that I have something that can do that work for me without struggling as much. So that's kind of what I went. And I just tied a little bow around it and then I kind of tried to leave it like that. I do actually end up finagling the bow a bit more off screen just to kind of get it a little bit more tight because it was a little looser than I wanted it to be. But I didn't show that because it's just me playing with it. And then to add a little more interest to the background, I chose to run this through the Deco Holiday Embossing folder. This is also a Spellbinders folder. And that just kind of added some neat texture to the background without really stealing the show. So it's just going to be that tone-on-tone look, and that adds a little more interest in the background, and it doesn't take away from those sprigs. So I thought that was a kind of a neat way to just kind of dress it up a little bit without kind of stealing the show. And then I'm going to adhere my layers together. So at this point you can see that I've traded to a gold matte instead of that black matte that I was going to go with. This just tied in way better, and especially considering there's no other black in this whole design. Sometimes I do my sentiment in black so it kind of ties together, but that's not what I was going to do here, so I chose to go gold instead of black. But I mean, you could go black. Black's a neutral, it goes with everything, but I felt like the gold just went a lot better. So now I'm just going to adhere my layers together and kind of start building my card. And this is where I decided that I wasn't going to add the sentiment on the front. Because right here, I'm like, this looks so cute. I'm going to do this instead. And I'm going to put the sentiment on the inside. So we're going to do the inside together as well. Something I don't always show. Sometimes I do stuff on the inside, sometimes I don't. But I am going to show you what I did here for this one because I thought it turned out pretty cute. And then I did kind of just want to, fluff up my little bouquet of sprigs a little bit more. So I kind of tipped things out and moved them around a little bit because I've only adhered where the twine is at this point. And I kind of had fun with that. But I just wanted to mention to anybody who might be as new or hasn't done it yet, make sure you sign up to my Happy Mail if that's something that's interesting to you. I have some Happy Mail that I'm working on to send out to somebody on the channel here pretty soon. So if that's something that's interesting to you, by all means, please sign up. The address is just for me. Nobody will ever see it but me. It's just an easier way for me to give back to people who support my channel. So if that's something that's of interest to you, there is a link to sign up. It's just in the description down below. So completely up to you. And I will be sending out the first piece here pretty quick. So I had these two little sprigs left, so I decided just to adhere them on the inside, and I'm going to cut off the excess because I don't want the whole piece in there. But I adhered my happy birthday, and then I brought these two sprigs in just to go around the happy birthday because I thought that would be just really cute, and it kind of ties everything together. So I have them overlapping and then sitting with the happy birthday just so that it kind of adds a little more interest with that happy birthday message. And then of course I still have tons of room to actually write in the card. So I thought that this looked really cute together. And then to finish off the card, I'm actually going to use one 3D foam square. These are the super thin 3D foam squares. And this is just going to go in the center of the poinsettia to keep it flat, but add dimension. So it kind of just gives a little bit of dimension to that. And then I'm going to add some gems because why the heck not? I love shiny things. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where I don't want to add something to the card because it just, to me, ends up finishing it off. It just kind of gives you that like finishing touch. So that's what I chose to do here. I brought in the Spellbinders Opal self-adhesive gems. And that's what I'm using. I've been using this sheet for a long time now. And you can see how many I still have of all the sizes. There's 4 sizes on here. And I've been working away at this sheet now for quite a while. And there's still a bunch left. So they're pretty interesting. I'm going to have to look at their other colors and get some more because these self-adhesive ones are pretty neat. I mean, if you were concerned, you could add a dot of glue. I didn't. I just I lay them down and then press pretty hard on them with my finger. And I haven't had any issues of them falling off. So I don't really mind. But I just think they're a really fun touch to add to this really pretty card. So I'm going to hold it up here so you guys can check it out and tell me what you think. I love how this card turned out. It's just super cute and delicate and pretty. So I'm really excited about it. So let me know what you guys think. Would you change anything? Would you have done anything different? It's always interesting to know what other people think when they see something. So leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.